how you doing, Bob?
Chris, good to see you, Chris.
Yeah. Governor, a little feeling of
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Here. Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you.
The Totagatic River and the wildlands that surround it, that we are here to celebrate. And honored to be here with Wisconsin's governor and DNR's secretary beside the wild Totagatic River as we mark the purchase of the lands in the Totagatic watershed. I have a hard time saying that.
Just say Totagatic.
It was just a little over a year ago, July the 10th, that the governor and the secretary were here to dedicate the river. And here we are back again with the governor and the secretary to dedicate the land. A number of other organizations have worked really hard over the last 5 or so years to make this happen. And we want to thank our local representatives, Nick Milroy and Senator Jauch, and all, of course, the governor and the secretary for helping us achieve that goal. The Wild River designation is an awesome accomplishment, and we're thrilled that the Governor Doyle chose to sound the bill here in Washburn County. If you'd told me you'd be back with Secretary Frank, I wouldn't have believed you. But here they are. Before the Wild River designation was finalized, the WCLAR board became aware that some pieces of land along the river were being developed, but other large parcels were being put up for sale, and we began to dream of finding ways to protect the river by protecting the land, even though our budget was only $5,000. Our annual budget was only $5,000, and that's not going to buy much land. We heard of a couple of owners that wanted to keep the land intact and preserve them for the public, and as we brainstormed together, we were pleased to find that individuals at the DNR also saw value in protecting the land. The DNR acted swiftly, so today we're observing another giant step in preserving this unique natural resource. The state's purchase of more than 2,000 acres of land, including shoreline on both sides of approximately 6 miles along the Totagatic River. This land was Wausau paper land, and it was put on the market. It could have easily been broken up and developed,
To introduce
but
the governor
this will then preserve that land.
today on this momentous occasion. From his first day as governor, he set out to be a champion for Wisconsin's environment and our conservation heritage. You know the governor well. He has a deep understanding of how important our natural resources are to our economy, to our tourism, to our recreation, and yes, our quality of life. It's why we live in this state. And Governor Doyle has had a special appreciation for the North. And it's not because he just likes to talk about it, but he spends a lot of time here. He has developed that understanding over the years, and it has led him to some of, I think, the greatest initiatives during the time he's been governor. He heard about and saw firsthand the threat of invasive species up here in the North and the threats to our lakes, and he did something about it. He committed major funding from the state to help all of the local efforts that our lake associations are making and other people to deal with this challenge. He saw the impact of mercury on our waters and our fisheries and did something about it and had us set the most stringent standard in the United States to reduce mercury emissions in our waters and protect our fisheries and our public health. He understands the importance of these beautiful forests that we're surrounded with today. He led the effort to make sure that we are putting Wisconsin land in sustainable forestry, that we have third-party certification to assure that we are sustainably managing our forests for generations to come. He's led the effort on biomass energy, seeing the link between our natural resources and a new source of energy and green jobs here in the North. He led the fight for the Great Lakes Compact and the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, making sure that we're getting funding and attention both here in the state and nationally for these incredible resources. But the reason we're standing here today is because of Governor Doyle's leadership on the stewardship program. He has felt passionately about that program, and was his leadership that led this program to being renewed for another 10 years. We would not be standing here today with this purchase if it wasn't for Governor Doyle.
Is something that those who came before us have done. I'm proud to say that in my 8 years as governor, with the help of really great partners like Bob and Nick, we have done a good job during these years, and it is critical that as we look into the future that those that come after us take the same approach. Well, it was a year ago we were here to designate the Totagatic, did I get it? Totagatic, but I'm just going to say Totagatic, right? The Wild Rivers project. That was the first time in 40 years that we had designated a wild river. It is something that Bob Jelk really deserves a lot of credit on, because he had been pushing for it for many years. He focused on it in, legislative session after legislative session. Unfortunately, he sort of had the other party in charge, but once that his party was in charge, our party was in charge of the Senate, and particularly as what happened with the Assembly with Nick's election, and we were able to do some really remarkable things, and that was certainly one of them. And so today we're here to put our money where our mouth is. It's one thing to make the designation, and that's great. And by the way, those designations really do work. When you get out on the wild rivers, you can truly believe those setbacks and everything that happens, that really, really makes a difference. But now we're in a position to put, as I say, to put some real money behind it. So today we are announcing a $4 million project, purchase of over 2,000 acres along this river. It will preserve its wilderness quality, and just as importantly, it will provide important habitat for diverse wildlife all along the river. So it is really a great moment for us. It is a time, and I want to give some thanks here, because some of this has been very important. First, Wausau paper. It takes good people who can serve the land, and also who at that moment of making the decision of whether they're going to squeeze every last dollar out of the development rights, or whether they are willing to work with us for a major purchase. And we are very thankful that they were willing to preserve this land and to make sure that it was purchased in large blocks by the state that would protect it. I also want to thank the Conservation Fund. The Conservation Fund has been an incredible partner of ours. It is the bridge in deal after deal. When the stewardship money isn't available yet, we have to wait for the next fiscal year for the money to come, and you need to be able to make the purchase at a time and to hold the land. The Conservation Fund has been there for us, and in this case the Doris Duke Foundation as well have been incredibly great partners. Sometimes their role in this is overlooked, but because of the timing issues, many of these purchases we would not be able to make unless we had somebody that was willing to be the bridge to purchase the land and hold it. We hope never for very long, a few months, a year or so, before the Stewardship Fund can come in and make the purchase. But they were incredibly helpful.